Okay, welcome students. Tim Langley, your instructor here. Let me make just a couple of quick comments here. I'm going to talk to you about how to, just a review of multiplication and division here in this first lesson. So um, let me just kind of review a couple things. First of all, I want to give you a lot of encouragement. If you don't have your times tables in your head, be sure and get a free app, like a times table app for your phone, and start learning one number at a time, like 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3, till you master all your fours. Um, and that'll go a long way towards helping you with math the rest of your life, okay? But a little bit about long division here. So I've got 56 times 5. And the way we do it is we'll just take the number here in the bottom and we multiply it by everything on the top. So I'll just speak it and model it for you. Um, I have 6 times 5 is 30. So I put the 0 here and the 3 on top. 5 times 5 is 25, 26, 27, 28. Adding those 3 there. So I've got 280, okay? Notice how I went one step at a time. I wrote everything out kind of carefully. Here's two-digit multiplication. I want you to watch how I do this. Again, I'm going to start with the number on the far right here. 5 times 4 is 20. I put the 2 on the top and the 0. So I've basically written a 20 here. You kind of look at it this way, okay? But I put the second digit of it down here. Watch me do this again. Now I take 5, multiply it by 3. It's 15, 16, 17. So I put the 1 of 17 here and the 7 here. So basically it's like I've got 17 here, okay? 1 and 7. Then I've got 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5, okay? So now I've got 570, okay? Now I'm going to model this also. What I highly suggest is that you do math with pencil as much as possible, and you can kind of erase these things on top, okay? So, all right, I'm going to jump back over here to the second row. I'm going to take this 2 here and multiply it by everything on top. 2 times 4 is 8. And I want you to notice very carefully, this is probably the most critical thing about long multiplication, is where I put that second row of numbers, that 8 here. See how it's directly below the 2 here and that I skipped a space? That's one thing people sometimes forget after not doing it for several years. But right below the number if you do it nice and neatly, or you're skipping a space in the second row. 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times 2 is 4, okay? All right, now I've multiplied everything on the bottom times everything on the top. I can go ahead and just add things up here, and this gives me 15, 8 plus 7, carry the 1, 6 plus 6 is 12, carry the 1, 5,250. All right. All right. So I'm not going to, for the sake of time, to keep this brief, I'm not going to do the next one, but I just want to remind you that the first one, I'm going to have my answers like this. Okay. I'm going to have my numbers like this. Okay. On the equation here, and then that next row, I'm going to have my numbers like this. Okay. And that next row, I'm going to have my numbers like this. And again, you'll notice I'm skipping a row each time. And also, if I choose a quick another color here, you'll also notice that this is right underneath this. I'm now multiplying this row times everything on top, and I start underneath there, right there. Then I go to this row here, this number, and multiply it by everything on top, and I put the answer starting right there. Okay? That's enough to get you going on that. Let's talk about long division. Now, probably here's my advice. I would stop this videotape and this recording and write everything that's on the screen first. Okay, so I'll pause for 5 seconds. Okay, so after you have written down everything on this screen here, you've now written down that there are 3 steps to long division. Just as review, you tend to repeat these 3 steps here. Okay, divide, multiply, and subtract. We repeat those steps. So, for instance, uh, well, let's just go ahead and model it for you, okay? I'm going to take my first number here, 3 divided into 57. And by the way, this number out here is called the divisor, And everything inside of this little bracket thing here is called the dividends, what's being divided into. It sounds kind of like what it means, okay? Over here, this 4 is the divisor. This is the dividend. 25 is the divisor, okay? And 478 is the dividend. All right, so step 1 says to divide and put your answer on top. So I'm going to ask, how many times does the divisor, 3, go into 5? Okay, notice I'm dividing it first into just 5 here, okay? It goes 1. So since I'm dividing into that number, I put my answer right above it. Okay. Step 2 says to multiply and put your answer on the bottom. So I take my number on top times my divisor, put my answer on the bottom here. Okay. Step 3 says I'm supposed to subtract. 3 from 5 is 2. Then I go back to step 1 again. Will 3 divide into 2? Okay. It won't, okay? So that in that case, I will bring down the 7. But I want to point something out for you. If this was a 3 down here, this 2 was a 3 or a 4, or anything bigger than 3 or bigger, then I would say 3 goes into 3 one time, and I'd put the 1 up here, okay? But because it won't go into it, I'm going to use my step 4, which is if it's needed, I'll bring down the 7. 3 goes into 27 9 times. Answer goes on top. Step 2, multiply, answer on bottom. 9 times 3 is 27. Step 3 says subtract, and I got zeros here. And that's my answer, 19. All right, I'm going to show you the next example. I want you to model this for you again. Step 1 is to divide. Will 4 divide into 2? No, it won't. So I'm now dividing into 28 here, okay? So 4 goes into 28 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. Notice very carefully right here where I'm putting that 7. You notice I didn't put it above the 2 because I'm not dividing it into 2. I'm dividing it into the whole number 28. Step 2 is to multiply and put your answer on the bottom. Step 3 is to subtract. Step 1 again is to divide. Will 4 divide into 0? No. Okay, this is another example where I have to bring down one number. Will 4 go into 6? Yep, one time. 4 times 6 is, I'm sorry, 1 times 4 is 4. Answer on bottom. Step 3, subtract 2. All right, so I've now divided it into all the digits, and I got this remainder here. So oftentimes, math instructors will tell you, write 71 remainder 2, put R2. The R stands for remainder, okay? And then a little secret over here on dividing 25 into something. Sometimes students go, how do I divide 2 digits into something? What if I didn't know how many times 2 goes into, well, it doesn't go into 25, excuse me, but it does go into 47. What if I didn't know how many times it went into 47, okay? If I cover up with my finger, if I literally physically cover up the 8 with your finger and cover up the last digit of that number and the last digit of my divisor, what I'll see is, and actually in this case, I'm dividing it into 47, excuse me, because, yeah, because 25 does go into 47. So if I cover up the 7 here, okay, so I can't see it, and I cover up the 5 so I can't see it, then I'm dividing 2 into 4. How many times does it go? 2 times. And I can try that. So, okay, does it go in at 2 times and I multiply everything out? Okay, 5 times 2 is 10, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Oh, that's too much. And here's why. 50 is bigger than 47. So that's why, again, I do my math in pencil. And it only takes me a second to just quickly erase that and go, okay, it must go into it one time. And then I'll continue from there. All right. I hope this helps. And let me know if you have any questions. But this should really help you with everything that you are doing in this first lesson.